What's up, guys? It's the Well Twins. And I don't know if you heard, but there's major news at Disney. Bob Iger is back and Bob Chapek is out. This all happened starting Thursday night, going into last night and Sunday.
Yep. So guess what? It's basically like a tale of two Bobs. Bob Chapek, like Nadia said, is out as CEO, and Bob Iger, who was the old CEO, who actually picked Chapek as the new CEO of Disney, is now back in place. And you know, what's funny is that there were some predictions made by, I think CNN made a poll where they talked to 10 different media executives and did an anonymous poll where he asked, what were your predictions of 2022? And guess what? One of them said that Bob Iger would be back as CEO of Disney. And when Bob Iger heard that in an interview, he actually said that was ridiculous. He left Disney. He would not come back. He already worked at that company. If he wanted to run a company, it would be Disney. But he hung up his hat and said, I'm retired. So this is shocking news that a Sunday night, they called up Bob Iger and said, you're back and we need you as CEO to turn this company around.
Now, if you guys haven't seen the stock price, Disney's stock price is soaring right now. It's one of the top movers in the market right now since its previous close. Right now, Disney is up at least 7% from the previous close.
Now, this is totally different as what's been happening with this stock since the year 2022. As of this year, the stock was actually down 40%, actually over 40% this year. So this stock moving up like this just based on the news of Bob Iger returning is pretty big.
Now, you guys may be asking, what happened that made it so bad that they had to fire their CEO over the weekend? Now, we'll tell you. What are the reasons for this major change? Well, there's three main reasons why this happened. One is a November earnings report, where Disney reported a $1.5 billion loss. Now, this is mostly stemming from its Disney Plus channel. Disney Plus has been a loser for Disney up to this point, but you know what? They said it's going to be profitable by 2024, but right now they're suffering some major losses. Another thing is that Chapek has been the cause of many problems within the organization. People don't like the direction that he was taking Disney. A lot of executives weren't feeling him, and they really blamed him for the stock prices dropping over 40% in the last year alone. Their compensation is linked to stock options. Now, if the stock price is dropping 40%, what does that mean for the executives? Their pay package drops by 40% too.
Now, one of the things that Chapek did that the executives really didn't like was that he took some power away from the creatives of Disney and actually gave it over to the distribution arm of Disney because he really wanted to focus on Disney Plus. Now, these creative executives for Disney actually were in charge of the P&L. But what happened under Chapek's watch is that he actually consolidated all the P&L under mainly one man, Kareem Daniels, and he put it under a whole division under a reorg. Now, with that, you end up having more bureaucracy and you lose incentives for these executives to do their best in order to increase the profits and limit their losses.
Chapek is also responsible for a lot of the part pricing that's been happening in the add-ons and the increases in add-ons. This has not been going over favorably with a lot of long-term Disney customers. They're feeling like they're being nickeled and dimed and asked a penny pension every 5 seconds, like everything is costing more. And you know what? The rides are not standing up and the rides are breaking down too. So they're saying, look, we're paying more, but we're not getting more quality. I visited Disney this September, and I can tell you, the park surge pricing is getting out of control. And the thing is that they also plan to raise the park prices again. Surging came into effect at Disney in 2016, where the top price was $124. Now the top price when it comes to park surging is $169. If you're not familiar with what park surge pricing is, it's saying, look, here's a minimum price. Say it's $109 to get into Disney World, but depending on the day and the demand and the crowd that's going to be in that park, it can go all the way up to $159. Now that top price is going to $169. And they plan on raising it again in December, along with raising the price of Genie Plus and Lightning Passes. Now, I don't know about you, but it's already expensive enough to go to Disney World, but to keep increasing the park surge pricing on top of increasing the park add-ons, it's a lot of money for families to go visit Disney right now.
Yeah, there was recently a story that made the news where one person actually was hiding kids in a stroller under a blanket so that she wouldn't have to pay for the kids to get into the park. That's how much people love Disney, but just don't like the pricing. Before, back in 2020, there was actually a change.org petition asking for Bob Chapek's firing back then because the park goers were upset at the way he was treating the park customers because of the pandemic with COVID, when the parks dropped or the parks stopped. Chapek had to change his focus with the company to probably put more revenue going towards Disney Plus with streaming. But however, when the parks opened up, that penny pinching and the price surging still was there, and customers were not happy.
Now, what are our thoughts on where we think the Disney stock price is going and what Bob Iger is going to bring back to the company? Now, I'll tell you right now, the stock price is going up right now because this news is massive news, but can this be sustained? I don't know right now because there's a lot that Bob Iger has to do. He's only signed on for a 2-year contract while he helps try to bring the company back on board and find another replacement for him. I think that Disney has to find a way forward. And if Bob Iger can help, that will be great, but you can't keep calling the old CEOs back in. This reminds me of what Starbucks does all the time. Whenever they have any trouble, they bring Howard Schultz back in again and again and again. This cannot be the way that companies keep moving forward. These guys are not young. Bob Iger is 71 years old. If he puts into place things that will work, hopefully the new CEO will have the confidence of the people and can do his job going forward. Now, this price surge, I think, is just temporary. I think things are going to calm down a bit once we get to see what's actually happening. And then we'll see if Disney price starts stabilizing or goes up based on the changes that Iger makes.
I think I agree with Nadia. I see the price of Disney is going to go up in the short term because of this Iger move, but I do think Bob Iger has his hands full because he's actually the one that picked Bob Chapek to replace him. So if he made that mistake before and he has to come back for the next 2 years and he's not a young man and he's in charge of bringing in a new CEO as his successor, we're going to have to see how that works out for the company because there's a lot of things that Bob Iger has to do. One, he has to put that, well, I believe he has to change back that reorg that Bob Chapek did. He also has to put the customers first again. Disney customers are loyal, but if you focus on the bottom line of money only, you're going to lose your customers and you're going to lose devoted employees. So Bob Iger, who is known as one of the people that has those magic wands like Howard Schultz with Starbucks, he knows he has to focus on the customers and he has to focus on his employees. And I think he's going to do that as probably the first order of business. But reorg can be messy, and trying to unwind a reorg can definitely be messy. So I think for the short term, that price of the stock is going to go back down, but I don't see Disney being down 40% next year. I think the stock will go up.
Now, I think the stock will go up, but you got to remember, Disney cut its dividend and will not pay has not paid a dividend since 2019, right? One of the 3 stocks in the Dow Jones that does not pay a dividend. Now, I agree with that. Disney needs to put their money and reinvest it back into the company. So I don't think they're going to pay a dividend anytime soon. But I also think their bet on Disney Plus is going to work out for them. They may be taking some losses now, but from my point of view, Disney Plus is the only streaming channel I actually have, and I love it. And they're bringing more movies out and more original content. So I think it's a good bet, and I think it's definitely going to be profitable by 2024. So
I'm kind of so on a Disney Plus. Disney Plus is set to raise their prices on December 8th. Now we're pretty close to that timeline. So and then with that, Bob Iger was never one of those people that wanted to raise Disney Plus prices. This was a Bob Chapek move. Now, with that, that's how they're going to try to bring the losses down by increasing the price of Disney Plus. But as you know, people are scared of a recession, and one of the quickest things you can do to put some money in your pocket is to cut unnecessary expenses. And I believe streaming is one of those unnecessary expenses. But who knows? Disney Plus, when you got more than one kid or even kids in general, might not be something that is considered unnecessary. But I would like to see what they're going to do with Disney Plus. Are they going to keep that price at $10.99 when they raise it on December 8th? Or is Bob Iger going to bring that down and attract more people to the platform? That's what they're going to be seeing.
Well, speaking of price increases in December, they also are planning on increasing their prices for their parks in Disneyland and Disney World for that Christmas season, that New Year's season, and I don't think that's a good move. People are already mad at those price surging and the increases. We'll see what's happening there. So, well,
I think everyone would be okay with the price surging and also the price increases with Disney Plus if you bring the creators back in charge and if you bring the quality back with it. I don't think anybody had a problem with Wakanda Forever that they just brought out in movie theaters. So I think Disney's going to get a bump from that. But you have to bring more movies like that and more quality like that to the customers in order to see your revenue grow. And Bob Iger is the one that was responsible for bringing in Pixar, bringing in Marvel, and also bringing in Lucasfilms. If he can do something else like that in the near future to bring that creativity back and bring people to want to go and see these Disney movies and what's on Disney Plus, I think he has it under control.
As we're going to throw it out to you, we gave you our thoughts, but what do you think is going to happen to the Disney stock price? Do you think it's going to continue to increase and go up for the rest of the year and keep soaring? Or do you think it's going to stabilize? I don't know. You think bringing back Bob Iger is a good idea? Let us know in the comments below.
If you like this type of stock analysis that Nadia and I did, make sure you subscribe to the Well Twins channel and check out the next video for more.